Hi, my name is Vanessa Lindsay, and I'm a divorce mediator. This webinar will introduce you to the divorce process in Massachusetts. If you're a friend or a loved one of somebody who's experiencing a divorce, or if you're experiencing divorce yourself, welcome. You're in the right place. I hope that you find this information helpful as you decide the first and continued steps in your divorce process. So without further ado, let's get started. So again, my name is Vanessa. This is a picture of me at the beginning of my mediation career a few gray hairs ago. I am a divorce and family mediator on staff at MWI. MWI is a nonprofit mediation firm that has been operating for about 30 years. We provide conflict resolution services for individuals, families, and corporations. Our website is mwi.org if you'd like to learn more. I was trained in mediation at Cornell University's ILR school, and I have additional trainings in divorce, elder, and juvenile mediation. I'm also a certified couples coach, which means I help people divorce and I also help people stay together. As part of this process, sometimes we practice discernment as well. Discernment coaching means when you're trying to make the decision of whether to stay or go. I'm also a certified meditation teacher. So I taught mindfulness, meditation, and mindful communication for about 10 years before becoming a mediator. I also wrote this book that you can see in the bottom right corner called Metamom. It's about mindful parenting. And finally, I have a degree in speech communications, so you can see that I really like to talk. And my talking theme is peace. So what's most important to me at this point for you to know is that I serve couples of all genders, races, income, and abilities. So I'm an inclusive mediator. So let's get to some of these frequently asked questions, but start with our webinar goals. So first, we're going to explore the pros and cons of mediation versus litigation, and we'll also talk about doing it yourself, the pros and cons of that as well. That'll include conversations about cost, timelines, and potential outcomes. We're also going to become familiar with topics that couples need to discuss to create a viable separation agreement that will get you through the court process with flying colors. And finally, we're going to determine next steps, including finding the right helpful professionals and getting to know the court procedures a little bit better. So first question, what is divorce mediation? It's a confidential and voluntary process where couples can work out the terms of their divorce together on their own terms. So my colleague Josh Hawks likes to say, mediation is a big step below litigation, but it's a big step above doing it yourself. There are advantages to all three, but mediation sits in that sweet spot in the middle. And we think that mediation is something that everybody should try first before trying to do everything else. Try mediating first. Which brings me to my next question. A lot of people will say, well, my spouse and I are barely speaking. How can mediation still work for us? And we always say, yes, of course it can work, and this is how. So neutrals, or your mediators, we hold safe space where couples can craft the terms of their separation agreement. They can also learn how to make tough decisions even when they don't like each other very much. This is incredibly important for co-parents who are experiencing divorce. Life is long. You'll be co-parents for a really long time. It's important that you learn those skills of communication and productive agreement making early on in the process. Your kids will benefit tremendously. Mediation provides you with a perfect place to practice those skills. Why? How can I keep my spouse in the room? Well, mediation is ideal for couples who want to save money, reduce stress, and maintain control over their outcomes. So those are really big motivating factors. So even if you're paired up with a spouse who is really struggling to stay in the room and kind of wants to go toward litigation, just keep reminding each other how much money you're saving by staying in mediation and how much control you're maintaining by not sending your issues to a judge. Next question, do we mediate online or in person? Really easy answer, either. You can do both. So since this world has changed so much post-pandemic, we do most of our mediations online, but if mediating in person is really important to you, we can make that happen too, and we have beautiful offices in downtown Boston. So once we get into the room, what will happen in our mediation? We have two main goals, and I'm actually going to make my face a little bit smaller so we can see them a little better. Okay, so first we want to create an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding. We will facilitate a discussion during which you will reach agreement on each required topic. Eventually, those topics are going to be turned into a separation agreement, and you'll be able to take that agreement to court. So speaking of court, the next thing that we'll do is assist you in completing all of the necessary documents in order to proceed to court and obtain your divorce. So I'm going to go back to that slide mentally for a moment with the stairs. So litigation is up here, DIY is down here, and mediation is somewhere in the middle. So obviously in litigation, all of your court forms are going to be taken care of. But if you do it yourself, you'll have to fill out your own court forms, and that can be very tricky. And frequently those forms get returned back to people who file them because they're not filed correctly. The courts are very picky about what they want these forms to look like. And by working with a professional to make sure it's done right the first time, you will spare yourself a lot of time and stress. Okay, so inside the session, our goal is to reach agreements on topics like these: finance, property, health insurance, life insurance, retirement, alimony, taxes, inheritances, and debt, and many more topics. If there are minor children involved, we're going to have a more extensive list of topics to cover. Parenting plan, that will probably take a good chunk of your mediation session time. Child support, paying for activities and camps. Education, will the kids go to private school or public school? Will you pay for their college education? Will you split it? We'll also talk about uninsured medical and dental expenses, religion, and taxes. There are so many more topics that we will likely end up touching on, but these are the big guns here that we need to take care of. Okay, next question: how much time will mediation take? So it depends. We love that answer, and we hear it so frequently these days. It depends on how many topics you've already discussed at home. If you've done a lot of the footwork ahead of time, once you get into mediation, we'll turn into just basically your scribes, and we'll record whatever you want us to record. If you haven't done a lot of the work at home already and had a lot of those discussions, maybe you can't have them, maybe you're already living separately, maybe you're just not getting along well enough to have them, or it turns contentious every time you try, it's okay. That's what mediation is for, and we're here to help. So we'll discuss those topics in our mediation sessions. It also depends on the length of the marriage. If you've only been married for a year, you may not have even had time to open a joint bank account or purchase a home together. So to separate your finances will be pretty quick and easy. But say you've been married for 30 years, your finances and your lives will likely be very enmeshed, and so it might take some more time to disentangle them. It also will depend on the number of children, the amount of assets and debt you have, and finally the level of conflict. The more we fight, the more expensive it is, the more time it takes. But again, sometimes this is just a process that needs to unfold in order for you to end the marriage. We're here to help you through it all. It also depends on your ability to complete forms independently. So if you love admin and you want to dig into exactly how to fill out these court forms in the just right way, absolutely go for it. You'll save a couple of bucks. Otherwise, again, we're really good at this. We can do it pretty quickly, and we're here to help. So on average, mediation takes between 6 and 12 hours. And the sessions can take place in 2-hour segments, in 1-hour segments, or even in one single 8-hour block. It's really up to you how you want it to go down. How much will this mediation cost me? This is the big question too that we often get. So on average, a litigated divorce in Massachusetts costs over $12,000 per person. In mediation, you're only paying one professional for your entire family. So most of our couples will finish under $6,000. It's an average. Some people finish for far less money than that, and some people a little bit more, but $6,000 is more on the high side, I would say. So just to reiterate, in big letters here, mediation is less expensive and takes less time than litigation. What happens after we've mediated an agreement? So that means we have an MOU, a memorandum of understanding. It's all put together. It looks good. We sent it off to our attorney that we work with. She is also a mediator, and she does a terrific job translating these MOUs into legalese. So once you get your separation agreement back, you will notarize it and sign it along with any other documents that are necessary to file, and you will file them in the county probate and family court where you last lived together as a couple. So each court has its own thumbprint. That means the policies and procedures are a little bit different depending on where you file. Don't worry about it. We've got you covered. We know exactly what you'll need to do in order to get through your process smoothly and easily. So once you file, the court will send you a hearing date. You will have that hearing either in person or over Zoom. Again, it depends on what the thumbprint of the court looks like, and it also depends on what the judge prefers. So at your hearing, the judge will make a determination regarding your joint petition, and then 120 days after your accepted agreement, you will be divorced. There is a period within that 120 days, the first 30 days, where you can roll back and say, wait, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get a divorce. I take it all back. After that 30 days, the paperwork continues on forward, and you cannot marry anybody else within that 90 days, right, until the 120 hits. And you cannot break up your retirement assets until that 120 days hit. So when you file, if you have retirement assets that you want to split tax-free, you'll file a quadro form, QDRO. It means Qualified Domestic Relations Order. And we can help you do that. We can set you up with a professional who can make sure that that happens for you. Okay. So what are my next steps? So first of all, you can reach out to me with any questions you might have, and I'll share my contact information in 2 slides from now. Next, you want to encourage your spouse to learn about mediation. Even if you've already hired lawyers and paid retainers, mediation can always be helpful because it will reduce the amount of time you spend in litigation. It will always speed up your process. When you come to agreements on your own, just between the two of you, it will always ease the way for your divorce. So in order to learn more with your spouse, you can schedule a free consultation, and then we can schedule your first mediation session. If you'd like, you can access all the court documents that you'll need at mwi.org/divorce-forms. It's one-stop shopping for all of your court documents, really easy to find. And then finally, I suggest that you resource yourself with the just right professionals. There's a long list of professionals that you can tap into in order to help you advocate for yourself during this really complicated and maybe chaotic feeling time. So first and foremost, I would reach out to a CDFA, a Certified Divorce Financial Advisor. This person will help you organize your finances and budget, will help you plan for the future, for your retirement, for your perhaps spending on your children, help you with investments. Very important. So I recommend this financial advisor to anybody with $1 million in their bank account, to anybody with $50 in their bank account, and to anybody with $0 in their bank account. So if you are a stay-at-home parent and you haven't worked in 15 years and you don't really understand finances, talk to a CDFA, understand your rights. It's nice to have another person in your court to help advocate for you, and it'll give you more confidence and empowerment as you move forward in the direction of post-divorce. The next person I would recommend getting in touch with is a real estate agent. You may own a home, or you may need to be changing your address. So talk to a real estate agent. They can probably help you figure out how much your house is valued at, or a reasonable rental that you can move in post-divorce or post-separation. You may also want to talk to a mortgage broker if you need to refinance your home. And that person can probably talk to you about establishing credit if you don't have proper credit going forward. All very important conversations to have with these professionals. Another professional that you may find helpful is a job coach, a career coach, or a headhunter, somebody who can help you with your resume if you haven't worked in a long time and you need to get back to work. I would also suggest reaching out to a therapist. Mental health is really important, and these professionals are there for you and can help you in your times of need. There's so many more professionals that we can lean into, but those are just a few samples. Okay, and so this is my favorite slide. This is the self-care slide. So this may be the most challenging time of your life. It will feel chaotic. You will feel confused. You will change your mind from day to day. You may have moments where you change your mind 15 times a day about your positions, about what you want, about what your needs are, maybe even if you want to get divorced at all. This is all very normal. And your mediators are here to support you through this process. And one bit of advice I'd like to share about the mediation process, which can be helpful in these times where we're waffling and trying to figure out what the best next thing to do is talk to your mediator about creating a mini agreement. So you have your separation agreement, which will come at the end of your divorce process, and you'll have this beautiful agreement that will be tied up in a bow by a judge, and off you go into your future. But during these months or years where you are actively working out your agreement, it may feel very chaotic and confusing. And so what I suggest doing is creating a mini agreement that can hold that space for you just during the transition. While you experiment with different ways of co-parenting, of paying each other support, of figuring out your schedules. So just knowing that these mini agreements are based in experiment and can change, and it's okay because you and your spouse will be changing your minds frequently. So all that said is sort of the lead up to this. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your spouse. This is a really hard time. You're both likely having some mental health challenges. You're being taxed and stressed in ways you're not used to. So be very gentle with yourself. Align yourself, surround yourself with supportive friends and family, people who have been through it and can give good advice. Beware of the people who don't give such great advice. You'll definitely find those. People who like to tell you about their toxic experiences. I recommend staying away from those. I also recommend taking care of your body and mind, exercise, eat well, hydrate, drink water, drink water, drink water. I can't say that enough. It's really important during this time. It's those little things, those little day-to-day things that can kind of disappear from your radar and wreak havoc on your body when you least expect it. Okay, so all that said, feel free to email me. I am vlindsay@mwi.org. Note there's no D in the name Lindsay. Or you can call me at 617-895-4027. I can answer some questions over the phone if that's helpful. And I'm just really wishing you all the best during this time. It's a hard time. I've been through it myself. I have faith in you that you can do this, and reach out. Thank you.